Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and lately on the channel we've been talking a lot about real ways that we can change our life, especially if we haven't felt that happy or if life doesn't seem to be inspiring or fulfilling anymore. In a recent video, we talked about how so many of us spend the bulk of our time doing things that do not make us happy. Some of these things are obligations and some are choices, but the end result is the same. We end up living a life that feels more like survival than an adventure. We can feel constantly burnt out emotionally, physically, and mentally. And I know that a lot of people I speak with say that they feel like they've somehow lost themselves over the years. This is something that I can definitely relate to. I feel like I lost myself for a lot of years. Sometimes we are so busy caring for other people that we get lost in the shuffle, or life gets so busy that we forget that we need nurturing too, that we matter. In fact, most of the adults that I talk to say they feel overwhelmed and overextended and tired and disconnected. And it's interesting because as children, we actively seek joy. We make time for things that we find to be fun and enjoyable and rewarding. And we find natural tools for self-expression. We honor who we are as a person. And as adults, that seems to kind of fade away for a lot of us, not only because we don't think that we have time for it, but also because we don't really understand how important it truly is. I think this is a huge part of why children are often much happier than adults. Of course, there are other factors, but they do not write themselves out of the equation. But we do, all of the time. Sometimes we think it's necessary, or we think it's selfish to invest time or energy into ourselves. But then what happens? Does it work out well? Well, not usually. We end up feeling resentful, bored, overworked, underappreciated, and like we don't even matter. But of course we matter, and this is our life. We've just taken ourselves out of the starring role. In fact, it almost seems like we've become indifferent to who we really are, or that we've forgotten. But I'm here to tell you today that who you really are matters. And it's important to remember who you really are, because the world does not need another generic person who is just going through the motions and completing tasks. The world and the people that you love need you, and life becomes so much more interesting when we are actually living it and putting our mark on it. But I think for many of us, the problem is that we've become so detached from this need that we just don't know ourselves anymore. We don't know what we are really like. So we have kind of forgotten what defines us or what makes us unique. In our life, we have a lot of important roles. Sometimes we are partners or parents or professionals in careers we either love or hate. And all of these things might be essential aspects in our life, but still they don't define us. We would still be who we are even if we had a different partner or no partner or a different career. But for so many of us, we confuse our roles with our identity and just kind of leave it at that. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to be happy when we have this confusion, because we've essentially written our true self out of the script. We're not only telling the world that we don't matter, we're telling ourselves the exact same thing. So my invitation to you today is to think about what would give your life flavor again. How could you reconnect with your true self and find ways to creatively express yourself and make your life feel magical again? Think back, if you feel bored and uninspired, to a time when that was not the case. How was your life different? What things were included in your life that you eventually cut out? It's not that we want to go back in time or be unrealistic about what our life could be like, given the fact that we do have new roles and new responsibilities. However, it is important that we think back to a time when we were happier and recall what we enjoyed, what we valued, how did we spend our time, what was important to us, and really think about if any of these things may still be important to us that we are simply ignoring. At some point, we have to get honest and ask ourselves if we are truly living a life that is in alignment with who we really are as a person. And knowing that starts by remembering who we are and what is important to us, and understanding that just because other people are part of our life does not mean that our true self can't be part of our life as well. Self-expression is not selfish. There can be a balance created between getting done everything that needs to get done and still being you and enjoying life. And I have to argue that it's a priority, or it should be a priority, because it instantly improves not only our own lives, but also the lives of the people that love us, because they fell in love with us because we are that specific person. Enjoying life and expressing ourselves authentically actually improves all our relationships, whether they be personal or professional, because we're able to show up as a relaxed and happy person as opposed to the burnt out, stressed out person we have become. We can solve problems much more easily, we can overcome adversity a lot more easily, and things tend to bother us a lot less. And not only does that make us a lot more likable to other people, but it also improves the relationship that we have with ourselves, because it improves our self-esteem and our self-trust and, of course, our outlook. So I truly hope that you make the commitment to rediscovering who you are as a person and taking time to truly enjoy your life again. I know it can seem like a very slow process, and that is fine. Just make the commitment and see where the journey leads you. So as always, I truly hope you found today's video to be helpful and insightful. If you did, please like it, share it, and definitely become a subscriber if you are not one already. We would love it if you stayed connected. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.